And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Alison welcomes her guests. She's a writer and podcaster and the voice that convinced you to clean out your nose pores. It's Robin Shorr. And he's a writer, one of the most feared sports uniform fashion critics and man who drinks his water out of a glass. It's Dave Dameshek. Tone Zone is here and not wearing a robe. I'm her husband, Daniel, saying hop on board the Love Bus. Say hello to your new best friend, Alison Rosen.
Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison with her the good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little old nippy cheese puffs. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend, that particular carbohydrate. And I have to say, I don't believe I'm familiar with the Old Nippy brand, but they sound delicious. Was sent in on Patreon by Lisa Lowry. Lots of fun stuff on Patreon. We have bonus episodes of The Friend Zone. Just had Jenna Kim Jones on. Then I did a solo episode with myself. I had been trying to book myself for months. Finally got me. Answered all your questions. Nothing off limits. That's video and audio. You get video of the Thursday show. So this video, Zoom parties, a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. You can submit carbohydrates. You can submit questions. It's really an unparalleled Alison Rosen experience. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen. Patreon. Sign up for an annual subscription. You get 2 months free, 12 months for the price of 10. Okay, let's get into it. I would like to say hello to my guest, Dave Dameshek. Hello, welcome back.
Before you say it, I know how excited you are about the start of NHL hockey season already. Your schedule is full with all the football you've been watching. It's an embarrassment of riches.
I could almost choke on all the sports that I have consumed. It's nonstop. My husband and my kids are tired, and the audience is tired of hearing me talk about it. But we'll get into that. Robin Shorr, hello. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you for having me back. I'm so happy to be here. In LA this time.
I know.
Not in New York.
No, not Terrytown.
Ooh.
No.
Daniel, hello.
Fancy.
Welcome back.
Hello. I'm back.
Tone Zone, hello.
I'm here, and I have started watching Squid Game now.
Have you?
Oh my God.
Okay, listen.
Oof.
Now that I have gone around and I was reminded, I talked about this last week, I was reminded that the old way, look, I've been doing this show and I've been on this earth for so long that there's like the old way and then the new way and then all the ways in between. And then I feel like I just reset every so often, and I had forgotten that the way I do this is I say hello to everyone and then we get into it. I had started getting into it before saying hello to everyone, resulting in saying hello to Tony around minute 40, which put him in a troubling purgatory where he didn't know if he could speak or not. I thought it was amusing, but now we've
Did you?
Look, maybe I enjoyed it, but now we've course corrected. So we have so much to get to. Let's just start. So much, okay. Dave. So much.
All right.
So much.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Let's just start.
I'm biting my tongue because there's so much to get to.
You don't even know what it is, and you're already biting your tongue. That's what I call a great show. Listen. Okay. Tony, Squid Game. So the debate has been whether Squid Game on Netflix, like the #1 show, is scary or not. Because Daniel and I we're not watching it. We watched the trailer. It couldn't be more scary. And yes, I know that's now the second thing I've said. One off mic, one on mic in Chandler intonation. I don't know what's happening. And Daniel said, "This is scary to you?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And he said, to him, the only thing that's scary is horror. And then I'm like, okay, well, can you define horror? And he said something that's scary. And it was then that I knew that I wanted a divorce. But anyway, Tony, is it scary?
To use your words.
No. Really?
Scary? No.
Thank you, Tony.
Disturbing, tense, yes. It's very violent at times and everything. It's very dark. But it is fucking intriguing, and I am fully in, like everybody else. seems to
Really?
be. Yeah.
Even though you
Is
have
it
to read the
scarier?
words.
Yeah.
What's that?
Robin's question is better. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to know if Squid Game was more scary or less scary than the pumpkin behind you, because that pumpkin is scary. Tony.
Well, if that's
Like,
the case,
what's on
I do
its
not
chest?
recommend. That's
Yeah.
his ribs.
Okay.
It's a pumpkin
Your
skeleton.
pumpkin's ribs are. Yeah.
Tony,
It's
don't
scaring me.
don't look now, but there's a pumpkin skeleton that means business over your left shoulder. Yes. Now, Robin has pointed out, I would say the fatal flaw, no offense and no pun, with your pumpkin skeleton, which is my son saw it and thought it was a pumpkin insect. So the ribs, the skeleton of the body needs work. Again, no offense.
I none taken because I didn't make it's fake. It's not. I didn't make it. I just bought it like that.
Even if you had made it, it would still be fake.
Touche.
All right. Is anyone else here watching Squid Game, and can they
I
refute
am.
Tony's point?
The first question I have for everybody is: it scarier than the haircut I gave myself? It upsets my wife greatly when I do it. I think it's really decent of me to save our household some dollars, but even I can concede as I look at at myself on our little Zoom chat here. I didn't do my greatest work ever here. I didn't do.
It
I
looks
didn't do
good to me.
Yeah.
a solid job here.
I mean, Dave's
I've
hair.
never seen you before. I've never seen your hair before, and it looks pretty good.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. That's just because you want to get along for the next little while here in this conversation. I'll say this though: is it viscerally scary? No, it's disturbing. I think, as the Thax man just said there, the statement it makes about human beings and all that. Here's something disturbing. Over the weekend, my 12-year-old boy mentioned something about Squid Game, and I said, "What do you know about that?" And he said, I've watched the whole series.
Oh,
and
my.
I said, "What?" And I said, "What? Whoa. What are you talking about? You watched?"
By the way,
He
not
said,
to cut you off real quick. I have not finished it yet, so no spoilers. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay. Fair. But I kind of believe his claim that all of his peers have watched it. And then I feel like I'm in a weird spot of being, an old man of like, in my day, 12-year-olds wouldn't have been watching that show. It's uber violent. Isn't it too much for a little kid? Plus the scary factor, plus, the morality statement about like, everybody has good morals and ethics so long as you don't challenge them existentially, right? I mean, like, so I feel like that's the enduring impact of the show, especially on a 12-year-old's brain. Like, don't trust anybody because they'll roll over on you in a second. Right?
Ooh, it's like everyone, the message of everyone's grandparents, unless you guys had different grandparents than I did. Okay. So what I'm hearing is it's disturbing, dark, and violent, which to me is scary. So Tony, Dave, Robin, if you've seen it, Daniel, you can
God,
speak
no.
if you want.
God, no.
Thank you.
There's no chance.
Robin, do you want to get together and braid hair while everyone else watches this show?
Yes, please.
I
can't with Squid Game.
I couldn't watch Handmaid's Tale. I watched like 2 episodes, read the rest of it on
Same.
Wikipedia. By the way, I already know the spoilers that Tony doesn't know because I had to read like what happens in episode 6. Everyone keeps talking about episode 6. So as if I've seen episode 6 of Squid Game. Tony, don't wear mascara that's not waterproof before you watch it. It is you're going to sob.
Okay. All right. I thought I did watch 6.
Oh, have you?
Maybe I'm only.
All right.
I thought I was 6 in. Maybe I'm only 5 in.
What, Daniel?
Because I definitely didn't cry.
Don't go a spoiling.
We're not spoiling.
Yeah, you're
Watch,
treading
you've
on.
watched it?
No, I haven't because I have to watch it in the dead of night after she's fallen asleep.
That's a big one with my wife too. Like, we need a show to watch together. Like, really? Is that what we're down to now? We need a show to watch together. We need something passively to sit silently near each other while other human beings do things. That's what sports are for.
Well,
I have plenty of that already in my life.
And I don't know how
love
it is.
in 2021. That's what love is.
It is. Thank you. I don't know how it is in Casa Dameshek, but here it starts out with, we need to watch a show that we both want to watch, and then she promptly gets fully engaged in Twitter arguments or Instagram fracases, and I'm the only one watching it.
It is such a weird thing. Why do we have to watch anything together? And it's somehow...
No.
I know this is a conversation probably better served in like 1990 when it was like, hey, men are one way and women are the other. But
Right?
but it really is a weird thing. It really is a strange thing. This, like, I have no expectation that you care about the teams I care about. I mean, if you did, I don't know how much it would change my life. I don't know if it would disincent me from watching on any level, but you don't care. You're apathetic. Why must I care about those things that are important to you? You know, it's a strange thing. Why do we have to share television programs? Mm-hmm. It's very weird. It really feels like we lack for something else to embrace together.
Oh, we do. But
oh, you do each other, I hope.
Probably, but listen, Daniel, I watched half of Val, the documentary, and I have not been able to finish it because Daniel was annoyed that I watched it without him because he wanted to see it too.
I want to see it.
But I don't want to have to rewatch the first half, but I feel too guilty to finish the second half. So now, just like Infinite Jest, I'll never ever finish it.
So did you finish it somewhere around like Iceman, Top Gun? Which Val were we finishing? Where did you leave Val?
I think it was, it was around Iceman, Top Gun. But then also, did you see, I did see the scene that was him in a High School Musical. And I was like, my God, he was so good looking.
Yes, he went to Chatsworth High School, which we could talk. I mean, right next door to where I grew up. So I had no idea until I saw that documentary.
I've always had a thing for Val.
Oh, yeah. And I just literally, before I logged on, I saw a tweet about him that Nell Scovell, I think, tweeted that said something like he should have never been an actor. He should have always been a director. And he was just an artist, like, ahead of his time. And I think it's true. But that's just one old Jewish lady's opinion.
But then we wouldn't have had Real Genius.
But it's not too late.
True.
You can still direct.
This is true.
Sure.
He's great. He's underappreciated. He always has been. That documentary is interesting. My wife said the same thing that you two did. She swooned. She said, "Oh my God, what a handsome devil he was." I learned that Top Secret was his first picture. I didn't remember that chronology for his career. I would have guessed Real Genius and even Top Gun before Top Secret, and I'm just now realizing he was in 2 movies that start with the word top. But either way, yeah, my wife's cross to bear is that when we do try to watch shows together, I fall asleep within about 11 minutes of it, and then she ends up watching the full thing twice at least.
You're the me. You're the me in this relationship.
Oh, okay.
Does she take pictures of you while you're
Quant,
asleep?
why don't you stop by the crib? You and my wife can watch shows together. I'll be in the other room watching a hockey game.
Listen, I will be happy to watch a show with anyone who will actually watch the show.
Are you more annoyed by my social media usage while we're watching a show or my falling asleep?
The social media thing is way more annoying.
And
you falling asleep is like, okay, fine. Because at least then it's on me to keep checking. If once you've fallen asleep, I can switch it. But if you're on your social media, the following things happen. A, I'm constantly having to rewind because I'll say something and you'll go, what? And I'll be like, this thing. And you'll be like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, you haven't been watching for the last 15 minutes, have you? And then I have to rewind it.
This is all true.
Yeah. But one thing about Val I want to say is I was working at a company years and years ago when he was shooting Ghost in the Darkness. And I was working at the company that produced it. And the word was that
1991. So that was 30-something years ago you were doing that.
I think it was 95, but close enough.
Whoa.
word was that he was really difficult and a nightmare to work with. And you hear this story about actors, from time to time. And I'm starting to realize now that a lot of the assumptions that I made or people made hearing those is based on what people, like the people spreading that were probably the ones in the wrong. And the one that was crazy was just having a normal human reaction to someone who's being an asshole. Like, oh, Val was difficult. That just meant that he didn't like how he was being treated, But we never. I'm just saying. I'm sorry, Val. I'm sorry.
Well, I think I haven't gotten this far for aforementioned reasons, but I think the documentary kind of like, does he at the end of it? Do you think, oh yeah, that guy was difficult, or no?
Yes, you definitely do.
Oh, never mind. Fuck you, Val.
I think they could have made more of. I think they could have made more of a meal of it. I think they definitely there's definitely a section where it's discussed, but other people that I know and respect that watched the documentary felt it wasn't accurate enough to describe his difficultiness.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh my God, I was so taken with him and da-da-da. And my friend who's a guy was like, yeah, my wife was too. He saw right through it, and we just saw his good looks, and that's how it goes sometimes. He was really hot.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody did want to fuck him, and so that's why they kept him on set.
I will say this.
Including the Lions.
First of all, he was in that, the part of the documentary that I tuned out actually was Island of Dr. Moreau. What a heavyweight group of actors that was. You have Fat Brando and that guy, what's his name? David Thewlis, and Kilmer. Kilmer, no stranger to grade A thespians. From Heat. He's in that one with, De Niro, Pacino, and the rest of those guys. He is, I think it's fair to say, at minimum, the most underrated of all the Batmen.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true for any Batman enthusiasts out there?
No one ever mentions him.
Hard to say because his Batman was terrible. Like the movie was terrible. So
I disagree with that too.
Yeah.
I think Two-Face sucked. I think what's his name, Tommy Lee Jones.
I mean, it's high
camp. Spoiled it. Yes.
If you like your Batman to be high camp, then maybe.
Had a
but
good
I thought
soundtrack.
he was all right with that. Yeah.
Right.
Was the Val Kilmer Batman attached to the Prince song "Bat Dance"? Was that the same movie?
2 movies later.
Thank you, Tony.
I think that's
Thank
Clooney.
you.
I feel that was the Clooney one.
No, that was the first Michael Keaton one.
Michael Keaton was Bat Dance. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to place myself in cinematic history.
So Kilmer over Cruise is what you're saying. If you're taking your choice, two fellas walk into the room at the same time. You guys are eyeballing the flaxen-haired Kilmer and looking past Cruise.
Robin, are you what does this face mean?
This face means if the choice is between Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise, it's not even a discussion.
Right. That's where
It's not even a choice.
I've never gotten the whole Tom Cruise craze. He's never done it.
I got to
for
bring
me.
this back to sports because we've got Dave on and for only a limited amount of time. This weekend there was a baseball game.
Yes.
At which it was identified that Tom Cruise was sitting in the audience. Dave, was that Tom Cruise at
Sure.
the Giants
What do you
game?
mean?
It didn't look anything like Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
He looked blonde or something, like he was doing a remake of what
His
was the
face
picture
was
of the
like-
overnight movie?
He looked like a guy
Wasn't the
who
hair.
kind of looks like Tom Cruise a little bit.
Yeah, I kept seeing people making jokes that it was that Norm Macdonald took over his body because
Yes.
there was like a Norm
Macdonald.
Macdonald
It did.
quality to his face. Suddenly,
He was
very
puffy,
strange.
like he'd had filler, I think.
It was puffy. It was puffy. It was filler
one
gone
of
wrong.
my for people who are comfortable with their heterosexuality, fellas. It's a taboo subject for a lot of guys. I have asked, when the New England Patriots were in the playoffs a handful of years ago, you surely know the name Tom Brady. You may not know Jimmy
Yes.
Garoppolo. A lot of women think Jimmy Garoppolo even more handsome than Tom Brady. So I asked all the guys on the Patriots, who's more handsome, Brady or Garoppolo? And most of the guys were like, I don't have opinions on dudes. And I'm like, you don't have an opinion on which guy is more handsome? Surely
Of course
you
they do. Of course they
And then
do.
here's the trick. You tell them who you think it is, and then they react to it. I'm like, I think it's Tom Brady. And they're like, really? I think Jimmy's got the better job. I still don't. To me, I can concede, like, I'm trying to think of even one who's a handsome devil, who I know is a handsome devil, but I'm always struck by, like, I had no idea that guy was considered attractive. Like the Maroon 5 guy is a good example.
Oh, Adam Levine.
People are like, oh my God, we'd all kill to share a bed. I'd murder you, Dave, to have one night with that guy. Like, what?
This sounds oddly
I
specific.
didn't even know. I mean, if you said Brad Pitt, I'd be like, okay, that I see. I've seen Legends of the Fall when he's all swaggery and like, I don't know, I'm handsome, like he's doing that bit. I get it. But when there are some other names that come up, they're like, he is universally regarded as one of the most handsome people on the face of it. I'm like, I would never have known that if you didn't tell me that.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Interesting. I didn't know. No, I'm just bringing up a subject if there are other names that fit that category.
So
for the Thax Man and Quants.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you guys? I heard it from Sassy Magazine referred to, but in the other way, I'll explain. It's the whistle that only dogs can hear. And that's like when there's a woman, and I've known them in my life, where all guys are attracted to them. And you're like, what? I don't get it.
Uma Thurman. Yeah. Uma Thurman was that about 20 years ago. I didn't know anybody. They were like, she's the most beautiful. I'm like, Uma Thurman is? And lost on me entirely. I don't see that one. J-Lo. J-Lo. Okay.
Really? You don't see what J-Lo?
Not wild. No, I mean, I see that she's attractive adjacent. I don't hold her up as one of the most beautiful creatures I've ever looked at.
Right.
Quants.
I'm not gonna let a Sassy Magazine reference just go by the wayside.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
I mean, some of us were raised by a magazine, and it was Sassy Magazine. So if you're wondering what we're talking about, just give it a Googs and see what it was. And it was really a pretty great magazine to have as a horny teenager.
Well,
Thax Man was raised on Swank Magazine. little whee mixed in. Am I right?
Oh, you know me so well.
Wait, there was a Swank Magazine, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. And there was also a wee.
What was
the French wee?
Right. What was Swank though?
Right.
Some smut.
Was
who's
we
the
all
Was a guy who looks like me with my mustache doing terrible things to a woman or women.
Elliot earlier, so he was so cute. I was overhearing him play with our babysitter, and he's like, "No, you're a naughty burglar." And I was thinking that, and the fact that these are like that. My next thought was, makes me feel uncomfortable. But I was like, that feels like a line out of a porn. You're a naughty burglar.
And
That's
I
a
love
good Halloween.
And
Yes.
I love they're referring to it as her as a burglar instead of a robber or
Right.
He's
criminal.
oddly old-fashioned. I don't know where he
Yes.
gets this.
It's delightful.
Yes. Okay. So I learned something about Daniel over the weekend. I had a big weekend. I spent most of it fighting with real annoying anti-vaxxers on social media, which is such a waste of time. And I might get into that a little bit or I might not. But in the midst of all this, I learned something that I never knew about my husband, and I'm going to share it with you all. He hates quote unquote jangly music.
Oh,
Wait, what?
yeah.
So are we talking Rushmore? What are we talking?
You were playing a song. I actually like. You mean the soundtrack?
Yeah, the soundtrack to Rushmore is very jangly.
I actually really like that soundtrack. No, you were playing something from who? The Jayhawks?
It was the Jayhawks. Okay, so
And it was just making. I just wanted to. It was just like turn it off.
It was.
It was like the Grateful Dead. That like doinga 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 doinga. That kind of music. I cannot. I can't. I will throw myself out of a car if it's on.
It was the album Sweet Relief. Does anyone remember that album? Yeah, it has tons
it was a benefit album
for Vic.
Oh yeah,
Chestnut,
right?
Vic Chestnut
For Vic Chestnut.
No,
think
or
that's right,
Victoria.
It's a great album.
Victoria Williams. Is
No, I
there?
think
It
a
was
You're right.
both of them. They both had Sweet Reliefs.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And what made me think of it was I have also been spending too much time on TikTok. I'm a real young person these days, and there's this little snippet of music that's like you're just a scarecrow, and it's jangly. I'm sorry, Daniel, and it reminds me of something, and it reminds me of a song on Sweet Relief. So that's why I was re-listening to Sweet Relief, which I used to love that album, haven't listened to it in a long time, and it came on in the car, and then Daniel became violent over the Jayhawks because he can't handle the jangle.
I can't be responsible for it. What was that like? That defense that person used once? It was like too much Coca-Cola or something.
The Twinkie defense?
Murder someone, something like that.
I think you mean the
Twinkie
Twinkie
defense.
defense. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
What quants then? Let's just to establish your world view here, or your world ear, is what is music that does please you?
I mean, lots of different kinds of music.
I like when people do what kind of music you into. 98% Thax, man. This must be the bane of your existence. It's like, what do you? I love everything. Like, do you love trance? You into you into Shania Twain branded country music? You love it all. You like everything. Quants, what
depends on my mood. Lately, I've been going back and listening to old Radiohead. I like crunchy guitar, sort of punk influenced rock. Like the White
There's
Stripes.
never a bad time to rock and roll, man.
But, I also like musicals. But there are some specific genres that just really get under my skin. One is mainstream country. And the other is jangly, like Grateful Dead type jam rock.
And I actually like the Grateful Dead.
You like this music. And for some reason, I just can't stand it.
So is it safe to assume, Daniel, that you're not going to be at the October 29th Hollywood Bowl show of John Mayer and Dead and Company?
I couldn't even tell you a single John Mayer song, but anything
he
Dead
doesn't sing his songs with the Dead. He just plays their songs.
That sounds like a nightmare to me. That I can't. But God bless if that's your thing. I just...
Okay, so Sweet Relief was Victoria Williams. That's who that album was for. Tony, can you find a song called Lights by the Jayhawks? This is the one that... And then we have to assess... Because I want to assess how jangly it is. How truly jangly it is.
Jangly section. Maybe I'm not being fair.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
The doinga, doinga, doinga. That I can't. Why do that in a song? Why? You should have so many choices.
What kind of song would you if you had a song to give?
Why would you listen to that?
All right, patreon.com so you can see Daniel's jangle face, his special.
I don't mind harmonicas. Or even
see, because
banjos.
I thought maybe it was...
It's not the instruments.
What is it?
I can handle some Bob Dylan. It's the like what?
Are you a musician, Quants?
No.
It's funny because, you don't have to, obviously you don't have to have served in the Senate to have an opinion on politics either, but it's got to be, Alison, do you sort of you don't know what you're talking about because as a musician, this is of high quality? Or Thaxman, do you ever berate Quants behind his back for his ill-informed opinions?
I feel like this is the first time I've really heard his opinions on music. So
I try to keep a lid on it.
Yeah.
Is it one of those things, Alison, that you're kind of like, I've been there, done that. I don't want to talk. I want to talk about any subject other than music, as somebody who's been down that road and knows.
No, I think it's interesting.
But your band was punk, right?
Yeah, we weren't jangly, but I enjoy. It's just interesting to find out it's a whole category of music that rubs him the wrong way, whereas it doesn't bother me. But there are things out there. White people doing dances on Instagram reels really bothers me. Like there are things where I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand it. What?
Racist?
It's like the whitest thing. It's just the most basic bitch white kind of like, I am into pumpkin spice. Look at my dance with my fiance. I hate it.
Live, laugh, love, and always kiss me goodnight.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
I hate all of
People
that.
just experiencing joy. You hate that.
So anyway,
No. I'm Team Alison on this one. Listen, penning your sincere happy anniversary note to your beloved and posting it on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the better move, and I've loved making fun of this and calling people out on this now for the better part of a decade and a half, is I love when people wish whatever, happy whatever, or, to their mother. Like, is your mother even on Twitter?
Right.
Who is this for? Who this is for is the performance of everybody saying, like, see, that's a good guy. Look, he cares about his mom. That's bogus, and it has to be called out.
Well,
I agree.
that said, everybody knows that all of your deceased relatives are on Instagram. So when you do a post about your grandfather and say, Grandpa, I miss you.
I thought they were all voting in Arizona. That's what I was told.
maybe it's both. So Daniel and I will definitely notice when it seems someone is protesting too much, like going on too much about how great their significant other is. Like, okay, what's actually going on? That being said, Daniel's move is to never post anything related to me ever.
Correct.
And I feel like maybe
I don't want
that's
you to get
going
a
too
big
far.
head. I don't want you to get a big head.
Yeah, thank you. All right, listen.
Or too confident in this relationship.
Well, speaking of
Keep you on your right?
Speaking of things like that, confidence, getting a big head, all that, or a better segue, I want to tell you guys about BetterHelp. You know that if you listen to me for any time at all, you know that I'm a big, big believer in therapy. Going to therapy is a lot like a lot of things we already do. Getting our cars tuned up to prevent bigger issues down the road. We get annual checkups, go to the gym to maintain physical well. Again, I don't currently go to the gym, but I do exercise at home. But at times I have gone to the gym, and every time I mention this, I get hung up on this specific point of the copy, and I really should just move on. In fact, the fact that I get hung up on it, what does that mean? It probably suggests that I have a lot of feelings about my physical fitness, and that's something that I could talk to with a therapist. See how good I am at this, you guys? This being knowing what I need to work on in therapy, and that comes from having been in therapy for a long time. So I recommend it. I'm really all over the place with this. BetterHelp. Look, right now it can be hard it's really hard to start with a traditional therapist right now. They have crazy long wait lists. Also, they're expensive. BetterHelp is cheaper, can be cheaper than a traditional therapist. Financial aid is available. Look, therapy doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you're investing in yourself to keep your mind healthy. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. I have 2 friends who are doing BetterHelp right now. They are finding it so convenient and so helpful. Why invest in everything else and not your mind? This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Alison Rosen listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/bestfriend. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/bestfriend. I also want to talk to you guys about Apostrophe. Apostrophe is prescription. It's a prescription skincare company that offers science-backed oral and topical medications that are clinically proven to help clear acne. They also offer other stuff to address other skin concerns. I don't really deal with acne much anymore. However, I wanted to do Retin-A. I've heard it's like this amazing thing for, fine lines and skin texture and all the things that come with aging. Which I'm far too young for, but I mean, imagine a world in which I might want to address some of those things. So I used Apostrophe, and I just filled it out, did like a quiz online, filled out a quick thing, took 3 pictures of my face, 2 profiles, a straight on. Got a little email saying that that so-and-so is your dermatologist. She's put together a plan. They sent me okay, by the way, I have been calling it tretinoin. I've been saying it's tretinoin, the generic Retin-A. However, I have recently learned it's tretinoin, and no one mentioned this to me. So I'm going to assume everyone else believes that much in my pronunciation, or they all drop the ball. You guys, I've been saying it wrong for a long time now. Tretinoin. Let every syllable have its moment. Tretinoin. But anyway, I've been using it, and I noticed recently, because I've been posting stories on Instagram, and I looked at them and I'm like, did I accidentally turn a filter on? I know this sounds ridiculous. I know this sounds silly, but I'm being like, this literally happened. I literally 3 stories in a row now. I've wondered, did I put that special like filter that makes you like my skin's kind of like glowy, and also it's perfect. Look, we have a special deal for our audience. Save $15 off your first visit with an apostrophe provider at apostrophe.com/bestfriend when you use our code bestfriend. This code is only available to our listeners. To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/bestfriend and click begin visit. Then use our code bestfriend at sign up, and you'll get your first visit for only $5. Wow. That's apostrophe.com/bestfriend and use that code bestfriend to get your dermatologist crafted treatment plan for $5. And we thank Apostrophe for sponsoring the podcast. Okay, you guys. So
wait a second. Quants, just make a little note there.
Mm-hmm.
First night of Hanukkah, got you some Retin-A.
Yeah.
Yeah, write that down.
With tretinoin.
when is Hanukkah? Because listen, you guys, I've always done Christmas. I've only ever done Christmas, but I feel like I want to do both this year.
I'll tell you once I
last
Google
name is
it.
Rosen.
I know it's a ridiculous story, Dave.
Oh boy, Allison, this is breaking Hanukkah news. I have breaking Hanukkah news.
Is it like
Is
tonight?
this one of those special years when it starts in the month of November? That's always
It
exciting.
starts the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend.
That's
Sometimes
so
that happens.
soon.
Wow.
Yeah. A few
It's a
years
little
ago, I
early
feel like
for
it
my
was like
taste.
It's so early. It's too early. We got to let Thanksgiving just have its own runway. We have this one holiday where, it's about enduring and letting that light burn for 7 days. And I feel like we're going to be in the shadow of Thanksgiving this year.
Judah Maccabee, the hammer, he came down from the hills and vanquished someone or other. I know that part.
Yeah.
I remember that from Hebrew school.
That's
Do my
right.
half tower for you?
Yes.
Please.
The Jewish holidays are on a lunar calendar. Is that why they're always different?
They are.
How does that work? Do you have like a lunar calendar somewhere? What?
No,
that-
I don't. I can't pretend that I do.
Aren't we on like year 5600 or something like that?
It's like 57, 82, or 84 or something.
Look who knows her stuff.
And I'm not even that Jewish.
So,
More
yes.
Jewish than me, apparently, but all right. But we're both more Jewish than Rosen. What in the hell? Never celebrated Hanukkah. And her name is Rosen.
This is an insane story that I have told before. I didn't know I was Jewish. I know it doesn't make any sense, and I feel all sorts of ways about it. I didn't know I was Jewish until I was in my early 20s. My family didn't want to be Jewish, so they just said we weren't, and nothing made sense. And then the lies got more and more weird. And then finally, I said to my mom, I said, "Can you tell me again how it is that we have the last name Rosen, we have relatives that died in the Holocaust, we look Jewish, but we're not Jewish?" And
You
she
love
said,
deli food?
"What?"
You love deli food?
Yeah, I mean everything about us was very I think my dad speaks Yiddish. Like everything about us was very Jewish, except when I would say, "Are we Jewish?" he would say no. And I'm like, "Okay, you'd never lie to me, so I believe that." Even though it makes no sense. My whole life people have been when I worked at Sam Goody the music store, they scheduled me to work on Christmas cuz they're just like there's just no way that she, Anyway, what was my point? Oh, yeah. So I said, "How is it, blah, blah," and she said, "You'll have to ask your father." And that was the first time I was like, "Oh, something's happening here." So anyway, yes. So I am Jewish. However, I know nothing. I'm like I'm like Mowgli. I was raised by wolves, and now I'm trying to enter polite society. But in terms of my upbringing had nothing to do officially with any Jewish holidays or anything Jewish, except that we're kind of very Jewish culturally, but
You
not
know
the
who
holidays.
did know you were Jewish while you were growing up?
My dad?
Your dad and all of the blonde people who lived in Newport.
Well, that's the
And
thing.
God. And God.
And God. That's the thing is that I've been told I'm Jewish.
And the pumpkin with ribs. He also,
I've
he
been-
al- I have to figure he knew Oh,
That
he knows
Humpkin's
all.
a Nazi. He's coming for you.
In
I know,
college,
I know.
I would always get mailings for Hillel, the like on-campus Jewish society, and I'd be like, I'm not, and I remember saying it loud, like, I didn't say for the love of God, but it was like, I'm not Jewish. Like, why does everyone
Jesus
think
Christ, I'm not Jewish.
why does everyone think I'm Jewish? But, so
What
I
is with this fakakta brochure for Hillel? I'm not Jewish.
I feel silly about it. Like, I want to call everyone I ever told that I wasn't Jewish, well, and just say, like, oh, hey, it turns out you were right, I was. So anyway, though.
Sorry to interrupt you with that side thing. So, but Christianity or nothing?
Nothing
growing up?
/ Quaker for a little while. Because my dad went to a Quaker college and like, I had Dave's face. I know. Look, I like.
What does that entail?
I like Society of Friends. It entails going to, I forget now what they call it. First service or something, and you sit in a room quietly, and then when you're moved to speak, you stand up and speak.
Oh God.
Yeah, and then you sit back down. So that's what the adults do, but the kids
I might be
went
a Quaker. I'll just hold court and
Yeah.
nobody can go anywhere. Like you're stuck. That's our religion.
That's the thing.
We're
You-
Quakers.
you can say-
Now let me tell you my thoughts on the best fruits to eat in life. And then
So if I wanted to do Hanukkah this year, just real fast, what does it involve? I know there's a menorah. I know it's 8 days.
You got your menorah, you got your candles, you got your dreidels.
Okay.
It's 8 days. You could do little gifts for your kids for 8 days. A deck of cards. If you're my mom, some socks. You know, this was always an opportunity for the Jewish mothers to sort of passively aggressively tell you what you needed new things of.
See, my mom's been putting all that in my stocking. Socks, shaving cream, razors for the men. All that has been going in the stockings.
Yeah, for me, it was lipstick because I looked dead if I didn't have lipstick on my face. So just subtle, passive-aggressive, more aggressive hints at what you could be doing better at. And there's songs. I had a little dreidel. Oh Hanukkah. I can help you with that stuff. I think the
these
most
songs.
important thing is the latkes, the potato pancakes, which surely you've had, Alison.
Yeah.
You've had to have.
I've had
Yeah,
all this
so-
stuff.
You've had all this stuff. We just need to localize it.
Yeah, I
and
just
put
need
it
to
all
organize-
together at the same time.
It's a problem of organization.
it was
Yes.
torture for me in elementary school. I was the only Jewish kid. And everybody, I think, like in elementary school had the music class once a week. Like you would go to and she'd sit at the piano and you would do sing-alongs with her. And then when the holidays would roll around, Christmas time, you would sit there. And I didn't understand. Like I was morally conflicted as a 7-year-old. Like it was like, I wouldn't say, like I really wouldn't sing. I would like Silent Night. Christ. I wouldn't say Christ the Savior is King because he's not this guy's Savior. Nothing. So I didn't say it, but I would leave that alone. I would just make sure nobody could hear me talking about I'm going to just go quiet on the Jesus stuff, you know, because he ain't king of nothing in this guy's. Anyway, but anyhow, I went along. I like dancing through the snow. I would participate, but then she would, about like 2/3 of the way through the class, this is what she would do. I remember it. Obviously, it put a mark on me. She would say like, "Now everybody, let's sing a song for David." I'd be like,
Oh, no.
I'd be like, "What in the hell?" And then it wouldn't even be the dreidel song, which is pretty snappy. That's maybe a little jangly for quants, but a pretty good song like dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. You know, everybody knows that one. But the other one, the bad one, is the Hanukkah one, like Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light them. And the bridge of that song makes me crazy. And while we are waiting, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. To remind us of
days long.
And then everybody would be like, we hate David and everything he stands for.
And his song seems sad. His songs seem like funeral dirges.
Do you think that's why Judaism hasn't caught on more in America, that the songs aren't more upbeat?
Yes. I think I think the whole thing, it's like, as far as I know nothing about Catholicism really, except from the outside looking in. But it seems to me that the Catholics, like the whole year is like, repent because you done wrong. And then the holidays come around. It's like, okay, have fun. Now you get to have fun. The Jews' approach is the exact opposite. It's like, celebrate life. But when the holidays get here, you better feel bad for what you did.
Well, also... Well, the
Happy
Christians
New Year. We have Rosh Hashanah, and Rosh Hashanah, you're feeling great. It's the Jewish New Year. And then we're going to slap you in the nuts a couple of weeks later with Yom Kippur.
What are we celebrating? What's Purim about? It's the time that there was a attempted mass extinction of our people.
just one of many attempts.
Well, it's like, hey, become a Jew, and you will look forward to more attempts at mass extinction. Also, the Christians have like a hot spokesperson. There's no
Sure.
Is that Jesus?
Jesus, yeah.
Is our spokesperson Jackie Mason? I think Jackie Mason's our spokesperson.
Or if you're a Hasidic, it's Rabbi Shearson or whatever his name is.
Menachem Schneerson.
John Lovitz. I don't know.
There's one holiday where you wave a terrified chicken over some people to remove their sins and then slaughter it, but some of them do it with coins instead.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
A Jewish holiday?
Yes, because
why did they replace it with coins, though? I mean,
I know. Come on, people. Do you not have any self-awareness?
Come on.
I think because I've been watching a very Jewish kind of tone show about called Scenes from a Marriage. If you've been watching that, it's been good, ponderous, but good. I think that's I've never heard that before. That might be a divorce. Is that a Jewish divorce? Something for real? I think there's something they mention you have to wave a thing over the head or something.
I think it's called Kippur. Tony, can you look it up? It's Kapp. I saw our neighbor. It was shortly after our dog had died. And so I was very sad over that. And then I saw a chicken across the street. And I'm like, what is happening? And there was just a large Hasidic man chasing a chicken. Or I can say this, I'm Jewish, chasing a chicken around his yard.
Wait, that's Rocky 2. That's in the training sequence. Right. Balboa is forced to chase around a chicken by Mickey Goldsmith, who is Jewish. Yeah.
And so then I'm like, there's some holiday today, and I looked it up, and it's I think it's called Kippur or something. Right. But there are a lot of modern day Jews who are very opposed to doing this with a terrified chicken. But anyway, I was reading about it on Instagram or something, and I was thinking, this is and this is not going to be a surprise to anyone, but it's the first time I saw it this way. This is very ancient shit. This is ridiculous. This is like praying for rain. No offense if you do that or whatever. I mean, this particular holiday is silly to modern people. What is happening here? This did make sense a long time ago, but we don't need to port this one over.
No, I'm just. I feel like my sister happens to be a very observant Jew.
Oh, she might know this one.
She might know the answer. I was at her house the last time I was here, and it was Rosh Hashanah, and the smells were in my nose, and I had to get out.
What are the smells?
Just the smells of a brisket that's been sitting, getting moist for 3 days, and potatoes and all the sides, and the smell of dysfunction.
Make that boner sound again, please.
Exactly. But actually, Alison, what I want to say is you were in your 20s when you discovered you were Jewish. And I have the most, like Dave, a very distinct memory of I went to a Hebrew day school for 2 years where they taught you Hebrew in the morning and English in the afternoon. And then my parents realized I could barely speak English, so I went to a regular school. But the very first thing I remember learning in kindergarten was that they were like, we're going to have a slideshow. And I was like, oh my God, a slideshow. I'm in fucking kindergarten. This is incredible. We do slideshows. And they turn on, the first image is a bookcase. And then the second image is the sliding away of the bookcase. And then they tell us the story of Anne Frank. And we're so young.
Oh my God.
And it was just like slides of like Anne Frank's life and then like mass destruction. And we were so young, but they really drill it into you at an early age in some institutions.
Wait,
that's too much information.
That
it is.
And that was at your Hebrew school where they showed that, or that was at your regular school?
It was day school, so it was in the Hebrew portion of my day.
Well, yeah.
I love the idea that they should teach you about Anne Frank. That's the way my mother, who wasn't even born Jewish, she was converted when she married my father, but she has that spirit. She loves to tell a story. Her stories are the best because she like, hey, Joe Schmo, you would probably remember him if you saw him. His beautiful wife, lovely one. They had two little kids, just nice people. I'd bump into them at the grocery store and everything. Walks out into the middle of the street, hit by a car. Now doesn't have one arm, doesn't have one leg. I mean, what can you do? Like,
right.
The hell kind of story is that to set up? Like for 5-year-olds, like, see Anne Frank, nice girl, could have been you, would have been friends with you. You know what? Dead now.
Right. Robin,
Killed.
You love books. You have a bookcase in your room. Have you ever slid your bookcase aside and gone into the secret portal that's behind your kit? Good, try it.
The weird thing is that I grew up with a very distinct like knowledge and sense and sadness over the Holocaust, and knowing that my mom's family, like, my mom's mom made it over, but the rest of her family didn't. And so I had a connection to it, but it was like cognitive dissonance, but also somehow I'm not Jewish. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I like how far this would go. Like you're at your bat mitzvah doing your Haftorah, like just do it. I mean, we're not Jewish, but just do it. Just go ahead, finish it. Now we're here, may as well.
So, Tony, I found this holiday. Did you also find it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear what Tony says.
Oh, are you talking about Kippur, the Yom Kippur tradition of chicken twirling?
Yes, I am.
Literally one of the headlines I see.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it says it's a customary atonement ritual practiced by some Jews on the eve of Yom Kippur. This is a practice in which a chicken or money is waved over a person's head, and the chicken is then slaughtered in accordance with...
Because chicken used to be money.
Chicken or money? It's a game show.
Total game. Who would host Chicken or Money?
Chicken or Money.
It's going to be like
Jackie
Gordon
Mason.
Ramsay or Jackie. Yeah. One of those. Oh my God. And you know what? If there was a podcast called Chicken or Money, I would listen to it on my Raycons. There's so much going on in the world, whether it, again, I'm the queen of segues. Don't forget it. Whether it's stuff you're excited about or stuff you'd rather not think about. You can't always control the vibes out there, but you can control the vibes in your head with a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds in your ears. I personally can't get enough of the Evita soundtrack. I also can't get enough of Bo Burnham's Inside. Sometimes I listen to Heart, and I'm going to listen to this new podcast that we just talked about called Chicken or Money. Look, whether you use your Raycons to pump up, wind down, work, or work out, Raycons are my go-to for on-the-go audio, and the new everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. They come with different ear pads, so you can get a perfect fit. They have a super smooth, amazing look. They call it a rubber oil look to the case, and optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit. These are impressive before you even start listening, and you get 3 sound profiles: pure mode, balanced mode, and bass mode. And then there's also an all-new awareness mode for when you need to listen to your surroundings instead. Right now, Alison Rosen listeners can get 15% off their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/bestfriend. That's buyraycon.com/bestfriend to save 15% on Raycons. Buyraycon.com/bestfriend. I also want to tell you guys about Olive and June's Manny system. I had seen them on Instagram for a while, hadn't tried them. Then they became a sponsor. I tried them. I got the Manny system. I am such an Olive and June convert. Their polish lasts longer than I had back in my days of getting manicures, of going to a place. I had started doing gel manicures because I'm sort of rough on my fingers, and just a regular manicure for me didn't last. I had heard that Olive and June manicures don't ship, and I was like, how is that possible? I put it on, and I truly just let it go. put my kids in and out of their car seats, which is hard on your nails. Like I did everything I would normally do, and it did not chip for weeks. And then I looked it up, and it turns out it has a higher resin content than other polishes. And that is, I think, that in addition to other stuff is why it's crazy how long it lasts. And then I watched a little video on their website. It's like Mani 101 on how to give myself a perfect manicure. Look at my Instagram, instagram.com/Alison Rosen. You can see the manicures I've given myself. I think those pictures alone are making people want to go out and get this, because it is crazy what a game changer the Mani system is. It's amazing. Getting beautiful salon perfect nails at home is now a dream come true with Olive and June. Your new nail life is here. Visit oliveandjune.com/bestfriend and use code bestfriend for 20% off your first Mani system. This is an exclusive offer you can only get here. That's oliveandjune.com/bestfriend. oliveandjune.com/bestfriend, code bestfriend for 20% off your first Mani system. oliveandjune.com/bestfriend, code bestfriend.
That's a good deal.
Okay, so we need Dave. You mentioned that your 12-year-old son is watching Squid Game. Well, I'm going to tell you something else that the young people are doing. I don't know if your son is, but apparently the young people are all doing this. Tony, could you play something? I know we have like multiple news jingles, because I feel like this might be news, or everyone already knows. Could you play something to indicate news?
It's the news with Alison. Alison Rosen is your best friend. Breaking news.
Too jangly?
Ooh, Daniel, do you
Okay.
find that to be
I'm
jangly?
okay with that jangly.
Tony, do you have the other one? Let's rate it on a jangle factor.
What is the other one? I feel like that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
It
What's
goes
called?
news with Alison.
We could do the one from Broadcast News.
Do it. Which one do we like better?
I like them both. I'm not gonna. I don't think there are any losers there. I think 2 for 2. Nice job by the Thax man. By the way,
That's not-
Quant,
that's
you
not
mentioned
Those are actually Trap Dog. We got Trap Dog for the OG jangles and Tone Zone for the new ones.
Yeah.
Quants. I wanted
Still
to
a new
mention
guy.
from 45 minutes ago. I recently announced, I'm sure to the dignity and otherwise of everybody involved with Radiohead. OK Computer, one of my 10 favorite records of all time.
Bold.
Congratulations, everybody associated with the band.
It's great. Yeah.
Great, right? Isn't it?
Well, I'm sure they've been waiting all these years for you to weigh in.
I didn't want to, overreact in the moment, be a prisoner of the moment. I let it sit for
There might be less angst in their
22
music
years
now.
or so.
Yeah.
But I like that you slid it in after we played the news, because the news theme, because it is newsy, Dave.
It's news
Thank
to
you.
me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Well, as far as that goes, we're coming up on the Shecky Awards, where we have to announce Fruit of the Year and worst food to eat after you brush your teeth, and best alphabet letter, worst alphabet letter.
Oh my
exciting.
God.
It's an
We're
exciting
in the
time
home
of year.
stretch here. Well,
This
it
is you're
yeah.
speaking my language, because what is the worst food to eat while you're driving?
No, after you brush your teeth. What's the worst food to eat when you're driving? I mean,
no, that's something that
You
has
just
come
want
up
to
on this.
spoil the Sheckies. So
Yeah.
is it like the...
No, I use Zig, I Zag. This is a different direction.
I got you. I mean, probably, unless you go with your own digits, I think sushi probably wouldn't be a great choice.
Oh, that's so true.
I don't think you want to be trying to work the chopsticks and hoist your salmon sashimi while and dipping it while also navigating on the 101 freeway.
Right.
That's off the top of my head. A bowl of cereal
Would be
I don't think
hard.
it'd be
A bowl
good.
of soup. A bowl of soup.
Bowl of soup. That's
hot.
the.
You're right. Even worse. A hot bowl of soup.
We had thought like salad or spaghetti, but then someone wrote in with soup, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're right."
Yeah.
Mussels. Mussels.
Oh
A
yes.
little fork.
Yes.
We already had the whole discussion about lobster and drawn butter, so I'm not going to go into that space.
We
but-
did.
didn't we? I thought we talked about that. I talk about it a lot.
Does this ring a bell for anyone?
No, we have not talked about drawn butter in this episode.
But have
Well, I'm resentful that the restaurants of the world dupe people over and over again to go pay whatever the restaurant decides, if market price on the lobster, whatever, pay to whatever it is. Like, yeah, would you love it if it didn't have the drawn butter there? Because you know what else tastes good when you dip it in drawn butter? Everything. So let's stop wasting our money. We're not dupes. We don't need the lobster. You know what? Hold the lobster. Give me the drawn butter and slice up some of that nice bread that you put down on the table. That'll be enough. It'll taste good. I'll enjoy the meal as much, perhaps more so.
I'm with you on the lobster thing, Dave. I mean, the lobster's very overrated in my opinion.
Yeah.
And showing that I'm a woman of the people, I could just enjoy caviar fixins. I don't need the fish eggs.
Oh. Okay.
Everyone relates, right?
I don't even know what the fixin. I didn't even know they
it's like
had
the
fixins.
blini,
That's how many
which is
times
like a
I've had
little.
caviar.
It's like a little pancake.
You just want bread.
Yeah.
I want bread with like creme fraiche or sour cream, chopped up onions, lemon, and chopped up egg.
What about a restaurant
girl.
just called Fixins?
I
You don't
would
get the thing.
Yes.
You get all the fixins, though.
I would.
I'm very, it's very appealing.
Big vat of drawn butter.
Yeah, but no
that'd be
lobster, just fixins.
Or like yes, and it after Fixins becomes a wild success, they could have a connected. You walk through Fixins and you get to toppings, and it's just a frozen yogurt place with just toppings.
Just toppings. I'm with you. And there has to be mint scrapple there. I know you've talked about scrapple on your show. I feel like you have. I don't know. No
drinks.
I mean, maybe
it's just a glass with ice in it. That's or just like an empty with just a straw in it. No liquid.
Wait, are you talking about Scrapple? The meat
pork
product?
No. At least in the Valley in the 80s and 90s, there was something called it was back then it was called mint scrapple at Scrapple, sorry, with a P.
Yeah.
At Yogurt and Video, which was the place that I wanted to work at but never got a job at. You either worked on the yogurt side or the video side. At Yogurt and Video, they had this incredible thing called Mint Scrapple, and it was like hardened Rice Krispies, but with chocolate all over it.
I've
and
seen
Oreos
this
mixed in
chunks. Yes, I've seen this at yogurt places.
And
wait, Philadelphians have Scrapple, and that's like some meat concoction, right?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with what
it's very different. But who knows? This whole thing at Yogurt and Video could have been meat products that I was eating unaware.
That reminds me of something. We were eating a tiramisu the other night as a family.
Oh.
We were finishing our meal, and we had a tiramisu. Tiramisu has the greatest range in presentation in the forms it can take, right? Like a cheesecake, it's always going to be a slice of cake, you know.
Yeah,
that's another debate whether it's a pie, you know.
It
named
is, I
as
think.
a cake. But anyway, but the tiramisu, I mean, it can come in all manner. It can come in like a cookie shape. It can come in a cup. You could get a square wedge thing of it. It's very, it's versatile. I don't love it. I don't happen to love it. I find that the chocolate powder stuff that they put on top of it, it actually makes me cough. So.
Yes.
Whoa.
It's a little bit.
A fun fact.
Thank you, Tony. And they never tell you ahead of time, like, are you going to get your tiramisu in a goblet or are you going to get it in a square on a plate? And I would like to know, because in a goblet, it's more puddingy. On a plate, it's more cakey.
I'd love to send it back. Oh, I wasn't aware it was going to be delivered. I was actually once at a restaurant. It's only in movies I thought that this sort of thing existed. I was once out on a double date, and it's one of the many reasons I hate double dates. And the woman who we were there with, actually, they brought the bottle of wine. She tasted it, and she was like, I don't care for that. It wasn't rotten. It wasn't like the wine was spoiled or anything. She didn't like the way it hit her taste buds, and she sent it back. I was like, what in the hell? What kind of move is that? People actually do that in the real world? I was ashamed.
Wait, this was your date or your friend's date?
No, my friends.
Did you guys go out ever again after that?
No, we did not. No, I have not been on a double date period since. Maybe like once or twice since. I really don't like. It's not a good number. Like, because you're with somebody. The double date, like you're there with somebody, so obviously you can't have side conversations with that person. So you either talk to the group or you get stuck talking to just one person, and then you're really riding on the strength of that person conversationally. And obviously, as anybody listening here can tell, I'm annoying to talk to. So that math doesn't work out. Like triple dates are more comfortable for me because I can hold court to like maybe just one, maybe to half the group, whatever. But it's a lot of pressure. The double date.
What is the point of a double date? I'm trying to think if Daniel, have we ever been on a double date?
It's fun. You get to meet them. Some friends. They're my friend. She's my good friend from work. Like, yeah, but that sticks me having to talk with him. And you don't know him. And so you can't vouch for him. And right. I'm going to get jammed up with his boob. What do I have to, what did I do to suffer this? Goes back to what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'll stay here and just watch games. All right. I'll just be here at the you don't have to watch with me. But I don't need to talk to the significant other of your friend for 2.5 hours of my life.
Right. Daniel and I went to, I think we went to sushi and a movie, and we saw Ad Astra, and I really hated that movie, and I know that some people like it, but no, I did not. With our friends who are a couple, but I don't consider that a double date because like we were already friends with them. It's more like, hey, let's just all go to dinner in a movie.
A double date is a really old-fashioned term, right?
Yeah,
like, because I don't know.
It's like burglar.
Yeah, like
you nutty burglar.
Two married couples going out together, is that a double date?
Not
or is that
really.
just going out with your friends? If it's a double date, it just feels weird and
it's like
almost
a fix
borderline
up.
Creepy to me.
Right, it's a blind date for couples.
Right, so it's more like young, like new couples. But then if it's new.
Because young new couples, it's like, ooh, let's parade our coupleness out in front of other people.
Double date. Ugh.
I will say, I can't divulge too much information, but my wonderful boyfriend and I have been out on two, essentially for me, they were blind double dates. Let's just put it that way. And I think it's a tough position to be in if you don't know any of the players involved. And I think a lot of the times, and I'm going to sound really gendered here, it's organized by the women who are like, oh my God, our husbands would really like each other. Our partners would really like each other. Let's all get together. And you're sort of making your husbands now be on a blind date, which is tough. So I think it's always good to start with a well of people that you might know together. Then just be like, that couple seems cool. I also feel strongly at this point in my life, I can't really make new friends. And you just have to really consider who you're going out with.
It's like right. This is a very industry thing. Me with my caviar and industry talk. What am I trying to do here? But anyway, it's like it's like the general meeting of dates.
Yes.
What are we doing? It's vaguely, you're being judged, but you don't know exactly how.
Plus, that's like what you're describing, Robin, is a very female way of approaching male friendships, which doesn't work. Like guys, guys aren't going to be getting along, or it's not the best way to introduce two guys to have them sitting across from each other at a dinner table. What you want to do?
What, they have to wrestle?
This is a tip for the gals out there who know a couple guys that might be friends. Just have them watch TV together in a crowded room with beer, and they don't have to look at each other. And then they'll just be like, hey, and then they might sort of like get, and then they'll
Katie says he's really into sports and he loves, and he's from that part of the please don't set me up with a guy. Please.
I know.
It's the worst.
You're
really
not
tough.
going to arrange a friendship for me. I really, I don't want that. And Robin, your point about making friends, furthermore, not only am I incapable of making new friends at this point in my life, I think back, how did I ever make friends? I can't. How did any friendship ever start? I can't recall where it went. I mean, at any age, third grade, you want to come over to the house and play wiffle ball? Maybe, but after that, when did it ever strike anybody? Want to hang out tonight?
Yeah.
Want to
Make
go
some
watch the
friends.
game at a bar? Like, I can't imagine myself doing that now.
No, it's that's why I personally like to hang on to the friends I've had forever. And if I'm at a double date with a couple that I don't know, I'm sitting there doing a catalog of like, oh, we could be out with this couple or these people, or I could be catching up with that person. And instead, I'm having a general meeting with a couple who I'm not even kidding. Here's what I'll say. At the last sort of blind double date I was on, there was a moment that was so awkward. And we were outside, and I didn't know how to get past the awkward moment. And I looked up, and there was a billboard for Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. And I was just like sitting there, and I was like, "So anyone see Free Guy?" Like I couldn't get out of the thing that was so awkward and was pulling from the sky.
But you can't tell us what it was.
I actually, it was just an awkward moment that that if we had all been friends or had known each other before or had met through circumstances that were more familiar, that it wouldn't have been awkward, but we just weren't a match. It wasn't.
Who are these people? Name them by name.
I literally can't. I don't even remember. No, that's terrible to say. They are very nice people.
So,
Oh God, Free Guy. Say something about Free Guy.
One of the
I hope. Oh, look at this, Robin. Remember her from dinner? She's the one who was a big Free Guy fan. We should listen. Let's see what she does professionally.
Yeah. Did you see it
hope
yet,
that's
Robin?
happening right now. I hope they are listening to me say these words right now. And if they are, just know she doesn't know who you are because she detested you that much.
Right. And then your mom, Dave, is going like, have you heard Robin who loved Free Guy? She walked into the street and lost her legs. She hated the date so much she lost all of her legs and has no nose left.
Robin, yeah, her husband, great, her new boyfriend, really great. I mean, they, unlucky in love, and then they found each other and they were really happy, got engaged and everything. Guess what? Guess what happened to him? MS.
MS. You never know what's going to happen in sickness and in health.
It's true.
But let's just
And
hope.
same time, they're in the hospital treating him. They think they're going to. Then Robin, all of a sudden, she feels tired. Lupus.
She dies right there. He was the one that was sick, but she was the one that died. But right before they died, they had a deathbed marriage, which is what I always say I'm going to have with Sam. Is like, people are like, are you guys getting married? And I'm like, I mean, when I had food poisoning and I was in the hospital earlier this summer, I was like, we should get married because I'm about to die. But like Mary Lou Henner did that. I think there's something very romantic about being like, you're terminally ill. Just get married then, because then it's not going to last very long.
Did it work out
That's
for
a
Henner?
whole other episode. What?
Is
Did
Mary
it work
Lou
out?
still hitched?
She is not. He died shortly after their deathbed marriage.
That's why we haven't gone on a double date yet. Play the boner sound effect.
okay, so speaking of boners, the thing I was going to tell you guys in the news, have you guys heard of soaking?
No.
As in the bathtub?
No.
I know it only because Sarah Silverman tweeted something that had that word in it, and I had to look it up on Urban Dictionary.
So evidently, this is a thing that is it young people or is it TikTok people or
I
is
feel like
it
it's a Mormon
religious
thing.
people?
It's more.
Okay.
It's like because it was she was tweeting something from BYU saying basically don't do soaking and don't do jump humping, and so I had to look those two terms up.
Yes.
So we know it has nothing to do with caffeine or sex.
Well,
or loud
it does.
music.
No,
so
it does.
soaking is like the opposite of dry humping. You just insert the penis and then just stay still.
Don't move.
Now, I don't understand the argument for that not being sex. It just sounds like terrible sex. I don't understand the argument for that not being sex. And also, if anyone's really doing it, it's got a reason. I mean, that's like putting a cookie in your mouth and not eating it.
I think it's a way to try to get around you can't have premarital sex, and defining premarital sex as thrusting.
But who defines it that way?
So as long as you don't thrust, you're not breaking your virginity. But then jump humping is when you're soaking, and then a third party jumps on the bed.
Are you serious?
And that you're not doing it, but the motion of the bed creates the thrust. So again, still technically you're a virgin.
Wow.
Oh,
is this
God.
real?
Honey, it's in the Urban Dictionary, so it must be real.
Because
BYU tweeted something about it.
Imagine like arranging. Okay, I'm gonna put my dick in her, and then Brian's gonna come over and jump on the bed. Like what? At this point, what's happening?
Listen, it's a religion where people polygamous sex, polyamory isn't frowned upon. So jump humping is maybe part of the religion.
Well,
isn't that why Justice Kavanaugh almost didn't get confirmed? Weren't those some of the specifics of what he was doing?
I'm sure he's.
I think Squee jumped on the bed.
Oh yeah, Squee. Yeah.
Squee.
Yeah.
Squee. Those parties, man.
Good thing Squee's name was in the calendar. Yeah.
I must say, because Jenna and Al, who used to be regulars on the show and are coming up in November, they are Mormons, and they have said they're not into polyamory.
They don't jump hump, and they don't. Sorry.
Well, no, we haven't. I mean, we got to find out what they think of soaking and jump humping, but the multiple wives thing, I think. Many Mormons, I don't want to. I shouldn't speak for any of them, but my sense is many Mormons are like, I really wish the fundamentalist Mormons who are doing the polyamory would stop because it is making us look bad in the eyes of everyone.
I mean, to be fair, it's part of the history of the church, though, right?
Yes, right. But I'm just saying,
it's not like.
I'm just saying there's plenty of Mormons who are like not into that aspect of it.
That's kind of that's a cheat. That's kind of like when you see a vampire movie. I hate when they play with the rules, the ground rules that have long been established about vampires. You don't get to make up the things when they're always like, oh yeah, the thing with the mirror, that's not true. In certain vampire movies, like no. You don't get the ground rules have been laid out previously. You don't get to pick and choose what you want. Same goes with your Mormonism.
Dave, where do you
you're either in for soaking for a penny or you're bouncing on the bed for a pound.
Dave, where do you come down on this vampire rule? They have to be invited in. Is that like vampire canon, or is that newfangled vampire bullshit?
No, I think I abide. I'm old school with my vampires. In fact, I like to use, whenever the subject is brought up, I like to go with Anthony Hopkins' pronunciation from the 1989 Bram Stoker's Dracula and call them vampire. But I like to try the accent. I can't do it. He's like, he is vampire.
Do vampires need an Evite to come in?
Yeah,
I'd like to think they do.
Okay. There's some end of the show biz I got to get to. But first, I just have to say, because it's in my head, and I have to say everything in my head. I've heard people say that virginity is, just to go back to this soaking thing, and if you define sex as thrusting, I don't know why I'm engaging with this, but I have to.
My boyfriend and I have been soaking this entire time.
Oh,
and
wow.
No one knows. That's the great thing about soaking.
It's like microdosing. You can soak all day.
Right.
You don't know what's going on below this table.
I have no idea. But I mean, if there's an earthquake, that's like God jump humping you.
Yes, that breaks the rules.
Mm-hmm. I've heard people say that virginity is a construct, and I get that. That being said, how we define it, but how I personally define it, to me, the thing, and I'm making a crude hand gesture, to me, penetration is...
We're gonna get demonetized.
For me,
rated X.
The way my Judy Blume reading Young Mind always defined losing your virginity, it was the penetration, not the thrusting.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're okay. So
to me,
Judy, yeah.
Well, when I was young, to me, soaking would have been sex. To me, that's not a loophole. That was the main act.
Listen, I'm old school. To me, oral is sex. But they don't. These kids today.
It's a construct.
They define it very, very narrowly.
Yeah.
This is yet another great example of what religion does for our. This is a thing. Soaking. Jesus
Soaking.
Christ.
Right. You know what's funny
Indeed.
about it? It's like they're trying to make everything so chaste and like pure, but what they've actually done is make it more perverted and weird.
Well, now there's
Right, so you have
three
to add all
people.
these bells
these
and
new
whistles.
things.
One's jumping on the
Right.
bed.
Yeah, you're getting like another dude to jump on your bed.
That's very much like I always liked in remember Real Sex on HBO. I always liked that in the formative years of seeing that, and then they would go to the people that were hyper into sexuality, like couples and orgasms and everything. And I remember the one where they are all nude and they like sit out in a field, and every guy has a ponytail. And all the husbands are ponytailed or whatever. And like, they're like, you know, everybody's, you know, entitled to their orgasm. And like, they would like all the straight, like the woman would lay there, and she was an unappealing woman by definition. And she
That
would, like,
show, man.
And they would lay there and like, and then everybody would like touch them. Like, you're stimulating every part of every aspect of them. Like, and like 6 or 8 strangers are all touching them. And then they would have an orgasm, and it would be like, oh, like that, and I'd be like, I don't want it. Like, that's the same thing as soaking. Like, whatever, all this stuff about sex is not for me. I am not, you know.
They should have showed that show to teenagers to turn
That
them
would
off
be
of
it.
sex.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
never
forget
wanna
about
do
it. Like,
that.
you could have an unwanted baby to deal with. Like, no, just check that lady out. You really want that? Whoa! Whoa! Oh! Oh!
Yeah.
Horrible.
Oh
Horrible.
my goodness. I would like to say hello and welcome to my new Friends with Benefits. That's what we call the patrons, except I haven't really stuck with calling them that. But those are people who signed up for my Patreon. Let's do it.
Top level Patriots get the soak.
Alison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there who signed up to be new patrons. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen.
Hello and welcome to Alicia Venus, Jason R., Amanda, who has she went from being a monthly subscriber to an annual subscriber, and then Crispin C., who signed up as an annual subscriber. Hello and welcome, everyone. I hope you are enjoying all your benefits. Tony, I feel like there's something else I do before the plugs, but maybe there isn't.
I mean, this is normally where there's a segment if we do a segment, but I know we're kind of running long here. So
Yeah,
I don't
we're
know
running a
what your
little
plan
long,
is.
so I think we're gonna put a pin in that segment. Come back to it. That segment being just me or everyone, right?
Yeah.
I was like, is there another segment I do? What is happening?
You should
Well, I
listen
mean,
to
there
your show.
is, but usually I guess on the
I don't
monthly
care
shows,
for
yeah.
my show. Listen, if you enjoy what you're hearing, please leave us a nice comment on Apple Podcasts. It helps out the show so much. It helps out the mysterious algorithm. Tell your friends. Make sure you're subscribed or following or whatever the terminology is in your app of choice. Retweet my tweets because sometimes I'll tweet about the show and then it doesn't get enough retweets for my liking, and I think this could have used some more retweets, please. So that feels pathetic. I'm crazy, but I'm crazy. I didn't even get into my 2 to 3 day just nonstop arguing with ding-dongs on Instagram. I'll just get into that real fast without going into details, even though I made it seem like I'm ending the show, and I am. We had Pete Holmes. Oh, this week, Allie McKay. She is a goddamn delight. Please listen to that show. It's also on YouTube, youtube.com/Alison Rosen. And then we already recorded the upcoming, when you hear this, the soonest
Next
Monday
week.
episode. What'd you say, Daniel?
Next week.
Yes, with Pete Holmes. He's gotten off of social media quite a bit, and it's brought him all sorts of calmness and zen, and an entirely new life free of bullshit from the past and whatnot. And so it turned out that he was only on it for an hour and a half a day, and I was like, wow. Because according to my screen report, which Apple insists on giving me, it's for me right now, it's up to 7.5 hours, which is
Whoa.
Yeah, I felt embarrassed saying that in front of him. And then we talked about how and I use the term compulsion, phone addiction, compulsion, but he held up a mirror to me, and I was like, yeah, it really is a problem. I really need to work on it. So I think it's like I'm the person who is thinking about going to a meeting for my addiction. And so I decided to have a last hurrah. And I really spent most of the weekend just tunnel visioned on my phone, engaging in all sorts of bad behavior.
May I just say that one of your posts... Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
One of your posts, Allison, inspired me to troll an anti-vaxxer, though. A famous anti-vaxxer. You may have seen it. I just wrote under her... It was Candace Cameron.
Yeah.
And I just wrote under her post where she said, I believe in freedom and I also believe in long walks in the sun or something. And I just wrote, gross, exclamation point.
Oh, yeah.
And she
I
deleted
did see
it.
that. She deleted yours?
I think she did, yeah.
I'm surprised she left mine up because I trolled her as well. I don't feel that I was trolling. It was
you just argued.
Speaking out against it, but then there's so many people have engaged with mine. There's hundreds of comments under my comment on her post. Anyway,
you were just out there changing minds, honey. You were just one after the other. Boom, boom, flipping them from anti-vax.
What a waste. I look at it as my last hurrah before I take care of this phone addiction I have. But it just... Anyway, there was no point to that. It's just what I've been doing with my time. Okay, so please use your phone to let people know about my show. Leave us a nice comment. Follow me on social media at Alison Rosen, Twitter and Instagram. Dave, where can we find you? What should we be on the lookout for? Plug your stuff.
There are any number of... you can find me soaking and not on a double date jokes I could make, but track me down. -3 podcast, Extra Points podcast, all available for you wherever you find podcasts that you like. You may like this one. You may not like these shows. Check them out, and at Dameshek on Twitter. That's the end of that.
Wonderful. Robin, what about you?
I after all these years of Twitter being around, I still haven't discovered my Twitter voice. So I would direct you to my Instagram, which is just at Robin Shorr, ROBINSHORR. And maybe one of these days I'll use my new microphone to podcast another podcast.
Yes.
To cast another pod.
It's time. The people demand it. There's not enough podcasts right now.
Mine will be the one that everyone listens to.
Yes.
We learned a lot about each other in this conversation, much more than your typical double date for real. Didn't you? We know Quantz doesn't like jangly guitars. We know that Alison is, like the warden in that movie, the jail movie,
Green Mile.
The more famous one,
Shawshank.
The warden there. Alison Rosen, a young one, obtuse enough to not figure out that she was Jewish, despite the preponderance of evidence.
I know. It's insane.
That's crazy. The only one who remains a nut yet uncracked, the Thax man.
Right?
Yep.
And Tony,
but
I
it's
saw...
his alter ego is behind you.
Robin proposed. Robin proposed in between guttural noises and chunks of whatever flying out of her. Marry me. Well, I guess we know about the pumpkin guy.
The pumpkin guy is like Tony's alter ego, just right behind him.
Tony, I saw an ad on Instagram. It's weird. I was only on there for a second this weekend. I saw an ad for a Zoom robe or a meeting robe or something. It's like, not sure what to wear on your Zooms? Wear this robe. And I thought of you, Tony. Because Tony doesn't, he does not indulge in bathrobes.
And I hate Zoom. So it's like a nightmare all around. So,
okay, Daniel, what about you?
Follow me at Daniel Quantz, Twitter and Instagram.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Quantz!
And Tony?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
My podcast, Bizarre Albums, every Tuesday. And I will be in Chicago next next week, the 21st and 22nd, with Don't Stop or We'll Die, playing 2 shows at the Subterranean. I believe Friday's sold out, but Thursday tickets are still available.
Get on it, guys. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show?